Hey guys, Brian here from LCS. Thanks for stopping by the channel. And in this video, did the pandemic energize the comic book market? So I know I've heard from a number of other people. It's been mentioned, on YouTube channels, on Instagram, and just in general, that during the last, 2 years or so, people have come back to comic books. And I know that was the case for me. I collected in the mid '80s and early '90s, and then basically went on hiatus for almost 30 years. But during the pandemic, I was working from home and had some more free time on my hands, and I dug out my old collection and started going through them. And I started seeking out, other comic book collections to be able to sell and flip on eBay. And I also, started going back to my local comic book shop, my LCS, and started collecting new comics and started consuming, content about comics here on YouTube and on Instagram and reading them on blogs. And so the pandemic was a big spark for me to get back into comic books. Now, I think there were a number of other impacts. When you think about it, during that time, TV and, film production was basically put on hold. In-person entertainment was not happening, right? We weren't going out. We weren't, going to the movies. We weren't doing all those other things that we may do with our money. And we also had stimulus cash, right? We had some extra cash coming in for most people. And I think generally overall, discretionary spending was way down, right? And, and this is not to, single out people who lost their jobs or things like that over that time, right? There were people that were struggling and probably didn't have any, money to spend on comic books or anything else. But I'm generally talking about people that were, that were employed and still had money coming in so that they were able to spend on discretionary things. And, I think people were looking for ways, to spend that money or to fill their time. And I think that's what brought back a lot of people to comic books. Because, generally comic books were still being published. There may have been some delays, but certainly you had, all the back issues, trade paperbacks, graphic novels. There were still a number of things that you could go back to, even if, the interruption of new publishing, was impacted for, a few months. So, I think those are some of the reasons why. And it certainly did it for me, right? I had more free time on my hands because, I was working from home, like I said. I wasn't doing other activities that were taking up my free time. So I came back to comic books. But I think there were some other, trickle down effects as well. Think about creators, right? They were probably working from home, or, changed in the way their normal routine of creating, whether it's script or, artwork or inks or whatever it may be. We started to see, crowdfunding kind of took a little bit of center stage for some creators who were trying to get some of their original projects off the ground. I think we've seen the rise, recently, just in the last couple months, of Substack, right? Creators moving to other platforms to be able to reach their audience and maybe cut out the middleman, with some of the big publishers, and be able to create and own the rights of things, content, whether it's, like I said, the written script, the story, or characters, the artwork, going forward. So I definitely think we haven't seen the last of it. I think things will continue to evolve. And then obviously, right, we've had big impacts in the financial side of the business, right? We've seen some big investments in CGC, and traditional, stock maybe investors looking at collectibles as a whole as a viable option, or at least to be able to diversify their portfolio of investments. with maybe some, collectibles, right? I always talk when investing your money that you should be, not all of your money in one basket, and so that you should diversify. And people are always looking for, a portion of that could be, goods, or, gold was kind of the standard for years. You need to have in some, commodity. And so I think comic books and really collectibles as a whole started to be looked at as a viable, option for investment because of the big swings in value that we were seeing, and most of them positive. That people are now really taking the collectible market seriously. So, but I think overall, when you put all those things together, it brought people back who were collectors, in years past. It maybe have brought in some new people looking for that entertainment piece over the year, over the 2 years, looking for, something to do with their free time or some of their money. And then it also brought in, in investment people that probably had no interest in comic books ever, but then started to see it as a valuable investment avenue. So I think that's really, has really energized the market, right? We're seeing all kinds of, speculation and high values on books that we've never seen before. And then obviously now, as we've slowly gotten back into things, TV and films, movie theater, going, and Shang-Chi was just recently released and saw a big opening weekend. And so I think that those things, now that we're getting kind of back to, normal, they will just continue to fuel the comic book market. So, and that's really just my opinion. I just think, as this momentum that has been built over the last 2 years will just continue to grow as, like I said, the movies are now back in theaters and making big money. We're starting to see, some announcements on additional TV deals. Nocterra was just recently announced that it has a TV deal. And I think that will just continue to drive the interest and speculation within the market, right? Because what's the next big thing? What, new series or even old series may, get opted for, TV or film, or, one of the multiple streaming services. So I think that will continue to, renew interest for people, over time as these things get announced, or the rumors are out there, on the internet about, what character could be premiering, or, could be coming to, MCU or DC, universe, maybe on HBO Max, things like that. So, like I said, it certainly sparked my interest and got me back into comics. And I have no plans on leaving and going back to not collecting like I was for so many years. I'm looking forward to sticking with it. So that's it. So let me know, what did you get back into comic books over the last, couple years during the pandemic, when things had changed for you, personally, whether it was with your free time or your working situation, or, money in general. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear. Like I said, I've heard it from many others that, it kind of sparked or renewed their interest. So would love to hear your feedback. Did the pandemic play any role in your involvement in, collecting comic books? So thanks for stopping by. Please hit the like, subscribe if you haven't. Drop me that comment. All of those things are free. And please remember to go vote at the cbcawards.org website for the Comic Book Community Awards. We have seen a big spike in votes. Over 3,000 votes have come in already for the finalist, and we have a new category that was added: the People's Choice Award. Nominations are open for that. I think we've received well over 100 votes so far, nominations for the People's Choice Award. So thank you for the continued support on the awards. I know there was a lot of conversation about it, which is a good thing. People are talking about it. Some people are excited about it. Some people are disappointed, but we're going to move forward. And like I said, hit cbcawards.org for all the latest information and for voting on the finalist and nomination for your People's Choice Award. So thanks, guys.